You know what? I don't think anybody will probably be back except maybe Ryan. I'm not sure with Jeremy because the other day in shoot around he hurt his other ankle. So, I'm pretty sure right now with any setbacks, barring tomorrow's practice, Ryan is probably the only one that I'm pretty sure of.
How hard has that been for you and the staff? I mean, obviously it's part of the business, and you just roll with who you have, but it's tough having 6 guys out.
Well, it is. I mean, like you say, you just got to roll with what you got, But obviously it doesn't give you a lot of opportunities to evaluate the other talent that you have. So hopefully, before these last preseason games are over, we will get a full team, with Jeremy and Jordan and all those guys healthy, where we can have at least a game or two in the preseason, especially these last 3.
But Byron, how big of a need can a Ryan Kelly fill? Someone who can stretch the floor and maybe hit some threes.
Well, just being able to stretch the floor is big, because it opens up the spacing for us. So, it'd be a welcome sight to see him out there. And, he's been going through the offense, so he has a pretty good idea of what we're doing. I'm just anxious to see him play.
Do you feel kind of hamstrung without Lynn and Kelly and Nick Young? Because you guys haven't hit a 3 since the first quarter of game 2. It's been 11 and a half quarters,
Well, yeah, when all your 3 shooters are out, it's kind of hard, So, it'd be nice to have all those guys back, but that's a fantasy right now. The reality is that Nick is not going to be back for a while. Jeremy, I don't know when he's going to be back. So, like I said, it's a welcome sight to have Ryan coming back hopefully Sunday.
Do long 2s bother you? If you're at 20 feet?
I'd rather if you're on the line, I'd rather be a 3 or a 2, to be honest with you. I don't have it on the line. Either be way, above the line and shoot a 3 or be inside the line, shoot an 18, 19-footer. So, those are one of the things that sends chills up a coach's spine is when you have your foot on the line. And it's a long 2, instead of just a 3 or just, stepping inside the line and shooting a regular 2.
Is that just court awareness on their part?
Pretty much. You got to know where you are, at all times when you're on the floor. So it's just one of those things that young people, sometimes they tend to forget.
Before some of these shooters come back, what can the team do to create more three-point opportunities and obviously names?
I mean, the other thing is just really trying to get them out and break, trying to get them early. But that's not our style right now, so we just got to try to be more of a grind team, in our half-court sets. Like I said, our spacing has got to be better. We still got to do a better job of setting screens and making harder cuts and things like that. So, that's one of the issues on the offensive end. Just defensively, we just got to keep working on what we've been working on. Guys got to get comfortable in the situation and in the system that we have.
Are the low three-point attempts, is that just an indication of the injuries that you have, or is that something that people can expect throughout the course of the season?
I don't know how many we took last night, 5, 6, something like that. I don't think that's an indication on what we'll be when we're fully healthy. I think it'll still be, 12, 14, 15, somewhere in that area when we're fully healthy.
Has what you've seen from Ed Davis this preseason given you an indication that he's probably going to have a lot of playing time this year?
Still yet to be determined. I like what I've seen with Ed. I like that aggressiveness that he has and the presence that he gives us under that basket as far as blocking shots and rebounding. So, with him and Rob, you get, it's a contrast in styles pretty much, but, I think both guys can be effective.
Each of the last few years, the league average for three-point attempts has set a new record from the previous year, and I think it was like 21 this last year. Do you have a philosophy on the rising number of three-point attempts and the role that plays in the game today?
Well, you got a lot of teams that just live and die by it, and I think teams, general managers and coaches, they kind of, draft that way. Try to space the floor as much as possible. But when you have to have shooters like that, you also have to have guys who can penetrate and get to the basket because it opens up the floor. So you see a lot of teams that are going to that style of basketball.
Do you believe in that?
I don't believe it wins championships. Get you to the playoffs.
You've been very honest with us as far as what you've seen from Julius Randle this preseason. How has he kind of responded to the criticism and kind of just saying, you haven't seen as much effort as you'd like so far this preseason?
I think he's responded okay. I think we all tend to forget, too, because we are in the National Basketball Association, that he is 19 years old, too. He's still a baby, so been a little hard on him at times, but, it's the NBA, but every now and then I forget that he's 19 years old and he has a lot to learn. It's not that he's not willing to learn, it's just he has to just put forth the effort. It's a lot harder here than it was in Kentucky. And, this is big boys league. That's the bottom line.
What's the plan next few days with Steve Nash as far as what he can or cannot do?
I have no idea yet. We'll see tomorrow, if he can do anything on the floor. And then basically it's game by game right now, day by day.
Byron, how was the effort, especially defensively? I know you've talked a lot about that this last week and after these games in the postgame.
It was okay. You know what, Gita, we just having too many breakdowns. You know, we want to try to keep people out of the paint, keep them out of the middle of the floor. We're getting beat off of dribble penetration, you know, so it's just a matter of, you know, we do it for about 20 or 30% of the time, and then we'll do it the next 10 minutes, 80, 90% of the time. We just got to get to the point where we can be more consistent at doing the things that we want to do on that end of the floor.
You mentioned last night the communication specifically with the bigs. Like, what causes those lapses where they're not communicating the way they're supposed to?
Probably fatigue. You get a little tired, and all of a sudden, brain not getting that oxygen. You stop talking a little bit, So just a matter of guys just getting used to playing with each other. And I know our guys are in pretty good shape, but we can still get in better condition.
Yeah. And I mean, even when they're battling fatigue, how do they overcome that to make sure that's not something that
You got to tell yourself you're not tired. You got to play mind tricks. You really do. You got to play mind tricks. You can't let yourself. Fatigue can't be the one that's a factor.
You've had Sacre and Ed Davis take nights off. With Ryan Kelly coming back, does that affect how you're going to rotate your big men?
Not those guys. Because those guys are strictly fives for me right now. I know Ed could play some four if need be, but right now working him strictly at the five position. Until he gets that, down pack, 110%, then I'll move him around a little bit more.
And is one of them going to take the next game off, or have you not decided that?
I haven't decided that yet.